Hi, everybody. I'm happy to bring you this week's Parshat Hashavua Shiur. We're going to focus just on one pasuk at the beginning of this week's Parsha, and we're going to take it a little bit differently than we've looked at some of the other Shiurim. This week's Shiur is going to be more midrashic, Hasidic based, and there's a very beautiful message in the Torah that we're going to study today. So let's get to it. If you want to pause the tape for a second, for a moment to get a chumash or to find the place, we're going to be at the beginning of Parshat Vayeitzei, which is Bereishit, Perek Chavchet, chapter 28, Pasuk Yud, verse 10. Vayeitzei Yaakov mi Be'er Shava, Vayelech Charana. Yaakov left Be'er Sheva and set out for Haran. Now, there's lots of talk already as to why we have to be told again that Yaakov is leaving, because at the end of last week's Parsha, the Torah says, Vayishma Yaakov el Aviv. Yaakov hearkened or listened to or obeyed his father, the Elimo and his mother, Vayelech Padana Aram. So we know he left to go to Padan Aram. So we know he's already leaving. Many of the commentaries deal with why we have to be told again that he's leaving. I'm not going to focus on that now. I want to focus on a question mentioned by the Shem Mishmuel. The Shem Mishmuel is a commentary on the Torah written by Shmuel Avraham of Sakachav, the Sakachav Rebbe, the second Sakachav Rebbe. We've learned some of his commentary before, and at the beginning of his commentary, he quotes a midrash. His commentary on Vayeitzei quotes a midrash, which then, in turn, goes and quotes some psukim in the book of Mishlei, Proverbs. Here's the midrash: Vayeitzei Yaakov mi Be'er Shava vayelech Harana. Yaakov left Be'er Sheva and went to Haran. Rabbi Pinchas b'shem Rabbi Huna bar Papa patach. So Rabbi Pinchas, the name of Rabbi Huna, the son of Bar Papa, opened his discussion of these verses with the following. And he uses another verse in the Tanakh, here from Mishlei, to explain the psukim that we're talking about. And the psukim he talks about from Mishlei are from the third chapter of Mishlei, Mishlei Perek Gimel, psukim Chaf Gimel and Chaf Daled, 23 and 24. And in context, it's talking about a father giving direction to his son, which of course fits right in to the psukim in Parshat Vayeitzei that we're talking about, because as we just noted, Yaakov leaves his homeland on the advice of his father and mother. So these psukim have that direct connection as well. And the psukim say as follows: Az telech lavetach darkecha, viraglecha lo tigof. Then you will go your way safely and not injure your feet. Im tishkav lo tifchad, v'shachavta ve'arva shinatecha. When you lie down, you will be unafraid. You will lie down, and your sleep will be sweet. And this is the midrash, the pasuk that the midrash opens with. And then the midrash, the Rabbi Pinchas continues, Az telech lavetach. Then you will go your way safely. Ze Yaakov. This verse is in reference to Yaakov, or can apply to Yaakov. Dichtiv Vayeitzei Yaakov. Yaakov went on a journey, and here we're having psukim that tell us you're going to go safely on your journey. Im tishkav lo tifchad. When you lie down, you will be unafraid. Me Esav umi Lavan. So the midrash takes a snippet of the pasuk from Mishlei and also applies it to Yaakov. When you lie down, you will be unafraid. Who will you be unafraid from? Me Esav umi Lavan. You'll be unafraid of Esav uLavan. V'shachavta ve'arva shnatecha. You will lie down and your sleep will be sweet. And that references the psukim also in Vayeitzei, Vayishkav b'makom, because the second pasuk is that Yaakov left Be'er Sheva, and Vayishkav, he lied down, so he will also lie down in safety. So the Shem Mishmuel asks a question. He says as follows: V'yesh lavin ma hashmienu hamidrash v'hakatuv b'mishlei. What does this midrash, using the verses in Mishlei, come to teach us Mashalo yadanu min hakatuv, that we don't already know from the text itself. V'im nemar shebalash mienu shalach b'li pachad. And if it's trying to tell us that the verses in Mishlei seem to indicate that Yaakov went on his journey without fear, the Shemi Shmuel, the Sakhachav Rabbi, goes on to explain that there are other midrashim that say that Yaakov actually was quite afraid. So these verses cannot be telling us that he did not fear from physical retribution. So what is this midrash? What is it telling us? And so then he goes on to quote his father, who notes that there are a number of midrashim, and I'll read them to you, that tell us that from the time that when Yaakov left his household, before he got to Lavan, there was a 14-year break. But that 14-year break was not spent by Yaakov just roaming around. He spent 14 years in the Beit Midrash of Shem and Aver. Now, what that means back in that day, before the Torah was given, is unclear. But what it seems to mean is that he was building up his resistance against negative influences. I'll quote you a midrash. Chizkiah Amar, Chizkiah says, and he goes through how old Yaakov was when he took the brachot, and then it says, Asa od yud daled shana shenitman bebeit Aver. He spent 14 years in the house of Aver, which is generally understood to be talking about a Beit Midrash. Again, a place where he's learning about monotheism, about ethics, about how to live a life. Again, I'm suggesting that where one will be able to resist negative influences. There's another Midrash, just a few sections later, that says, Vayishkav b'makom, that here Yaakov went to sleep. Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Nechemia, Rabbi Yehuda Amar. So Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Nechemia both explain what this means, that he went to sleep b'makom, in this place. It seems to say kan shachav, he went to sleep in this place. Aval kol yud daled shana sheyat tamun bebeit Aver lo shachav. The entire 14-year period that he was in the Beit Midrash of Aver, he did not sleep, meaning he was learning Torah constantly. Now, we don't have to take that literally. There are other ways we could understand that he was totally engulfed in Torah, and that his whole essence was about Torah, about, again, learning how to avoid or how to resist some of these negative influence. But back to the Sakhachav Rebbe, he says that's what's going on in these psukim in Mishlei, and that's why that first midrash in Vayeitzei quotes these. That what was Yaakov afraid of? Yaakov was afraid of physical retribution, but he was also afraid that he was going to be spiritually influenced in a negative way from Lavan, from spending a lot of time with Lavan, who the Torah has already painted as an unsavory character. Rashi especially paints Lavan as a money-hungry, materialistic person, and perhaps Yaakov is afraid of that. We also know that there was Avodah Zarah in the house of Lavan, and so Yaakov was afraid about being negatively influenced on a spiritual level. And so what does he do beforehand? He spends time studying, contemplating, strengthening his character so that he would be able to resist those negative influences. And so that offers us a very important lesson. We all live in the big world, and we all encounter various aspects of popular culture. And I think most of us would agree that not every aspect of popular culture is positive. Not every aspect of positive culture has a positive impact on us, not every aspect of positive culture has a positive impact on our families and our children. So we have to figure out a way to filter out the negative aspects of popular culture, to let in what is good about our society, but to keep out what is bad. How do we know what is good? How do we know what is bad? Here, the Sakhachav Rebbe, with these midrashim, is suggesting the way we know is through the study of Torah. When we study Torah, we're able to understand that certain aspects of popular culture are negative, and certain aspects of popular culture should be left out and should be filtered out of our life. You know, some obvious examples would be those aspects of popular culture that Yaakov wanted to leave out. Those aspects of popular culture which are materialistic. Again, as Rashi paints Lavan as a very materialistic person. So being overly concerned with material things as opposed to spiritual things, or how we behave, being more concerned with the stuff that we have, or the way that we appear to others, as opposed to who we really are inside and how we treat others. That is an aspect of popular culture which the Torah, with its constant reminders about the dangers of materialism, can help us in filtering out those things. Many aspects of popular culture also focus a lot on Lashon Hara. A lot about talking about other people. All this focus on the stars and what they're doing, and whether what they're doing is good or whether what they're doing is bad. That filters in and could affect how we deal in our daily lives. Are we overly concerned with the lives of other people, or we should be more concerned with our own lives? Of course, those things which take us away from our faith and get in the way of our practice of our faith, like the avodah zarah of Lavan's house, those also should be filtered out. The question is, do we have avodah zarah these days? Meaning, regardless of how we characterize or classify different faiths, perhaps avodah zarah, foreign worship, could be considered those things that take up a lot of our time and keep us from things which are really important. Some of us are addicted to our work. Some of us are addicted to all sorts of things which take away time from our family, take away time from Torah study, take away time from coming to shul. Maybe that's the modern day avodah zarah. And here we're being taught that if we spend some time studying Torah, we build that resistance against letting those things influence our lives. When you study Torah, you pick up tidbits. The study of Torah is not only about picking up knowledge about how to do things. The study of Torah, and maybe this is through the study of Midrashim or Agadah, is also about picking up Jewish values and about learning important aspects of Judaism, which again help us make decisions as Jews. Now, I don't want anyone to misunderstand. In fact, the Ralbag argues that there were some positive aspects of Lavan, meaning there are positive aspects of even the unsavory characters. The Ralbag says, despite the fact that Rashi paints Lavan as an unsavory character, the fact of the matter is that Lavan took in his family member. He may have taken him in because he thought he was laden with lots of riches, but at the end of the day, he takes in Yaakov. He takes in his family member and gives him a place to live, and ultimately gives his two daughters to be married to Yaakov. And so the Ralbag says, yes, that despite the fact that Lavan had these negative character traits, there are also some positive things about Lavan which we should learn. And that too comes with the study of Torah, because when we understand the character traits of Torah, we're able, like I said before, to pick out what is good and to reject what is bad. So back to the Shemi Shmuel, that's what Yaakov was afraid about. Besides being afraid physically, he was also afraid that he was going to be negatively influenced. And what is the advice that the Midrash, through the interpretation of the Shemi Shmuel, gives of how to avoid that negative influence? It's quite simple. It's to be engaged in the study of Torah, because through the study of Torah, we absorb Jewish values. We absorb the Judaic outlook on life. And there is a Judaic outlook on life. There's not one singular Judaic outlook on life, is what I try to teach, but there are Judaic outlooks of life, and we only could learn them by the study of Torah. So before Yaakov was going to put himself in that position of being in Lavan's house, he decided to spend 12 years studying the Torah. Most of us don't have 12 years to spare, but hopefully we could all find time on a regular basis to study Torah so that we can be influenced positively by it. We can absorb the character traits of the Torah so that we can make good life decisions for ourselves, for our children, for our community. I wish everyone a wonderful day and a happy Thanksgiving. And speaking of Thanksgiving, one of the most important and focused on character traits that the Torah offers us is Hakarat HaTov, is being grateful and being thankful. And that's what Thanksgiving is about. It's about being grateful and being thankful for this wonderful country that we live in, the United States of America. So I hope everyone takes some time tomorrow, not only to spend time with their family and to have a meal, to celebrate Thanksgiving, but also in tefillah, to take some time to thank Hashem for giving us for putting a Medina Shel Chesed, a country that is full of righteousness and goodness and does wonderful things for all of its citizens, and does wonderful things for its Jewish citizens, and is a wonderful friend to our beloved state of Israel. We should take some time to be grateful and to thank Hashem for all that the United States is and represents. Have a wonderful day, and again, happy Thanksgiving.